So apparently the 40 and over side of TikTok is popping off right now. And I could not be more happy about this. I just turned 40 last month and I haven't been on my TikTok account for years, like at least 2 years. To be completely honest, it got scary. I started seeing a lot of people just like being really hateful, and I'm just not about that energy. But the 40 and over side of TikTok, I'm about that. I'm about that life. Let's go to bed at 9 p.m. Let's take a gummy on a Sunday and fold laundry while we watch Love is Blind. Let's talk about what we're investing our money in. Like, I want to be friends with my fellow 40-year-olds. 40, I know I've only been here for like a month or so. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I would like to stay here, please. So anyway, hopefully I made it to that side of TikTok. And
I just ran into a cute kid from my gym outside of my neighborhood, and we were chatting like, oh my gosh, I never see you outside of the gym. And then he's like, I know I'm not supposed to ask women this, but can I ask how old you are? I was like, women, I'm a girl. Am I at the age where people feel like they can't ask my age? I guess we're getting older.
Women are the most valuable after the age of 40, in my opinion. Everything is leading up to who you become in your 40s. I've never felt more interesting, confident, powerful, sure of what I want, sexy, accepting of myself and other people. I've never felt more sane. And that's why we're dangerous, because we know what we want and who we are, and we might give the cheat code to the younger girls.
Right.
So that's why they try to erase us or make us erase ourselves and erase any sign of ourselves and still behave like little girls on the internet. And I can't stand it, and I refuse. So everything I do now is for my old lady self, because she's watching everything I'm doing.
One thing's for certain, two things for sure. If you're over 40, baby, you're just getting started, okay? It's not a lot out here that I can guarantee, but I can guarantee you that you're just getting started. You know what I mean? If you look at anybody who's reached a level of success, most people just get started at 40. So when you're thinking that you're behind the 8 ball, baby, you're in front of it. You're right where you're supposed to be. Okay, stop telling yourself that you can't pivot, you can't transition, you can't turn around, you can't do something different, you can't start over, rebuild, regroup, reset, whatever it is that you're trying to do, rebrand, reinvent, you can do it. But see, you got to believe that you can. See, if you keep telling yourself that you can't, then you won't. All right. What the mind believes is what the body receives. And ultimately, that is what you're going to achieve. So for all of you out there who feel like you are missing the mark, baby, you right on it. And on that note, stay healthy, be well, and take care of you.
Am I the only one that's in my 40s, but like doesn't believe they're in their 40s? Like, not in a bad way that, oh, I have a problem with aging, because I don't. But like I remember being in my 20s, in my 30s, and I felt like, yes, I'm in those age groups. But now that I'm in my 40s, I still think that I'm younger than what I am. I'm not trying to be younger or look younger, but mentally, I'll look at my age or something will come up. I'm like, oh, that's not me, but it is me.
At 43, I am no longer chasing youth. I am chasing good skin, good teeth. I am chasing a healthy body, working out, a healthy diet. I'm chasing overall wellness and well-being rather than the aesthetic of youth. I've been leaning into the way that I dress. I want to dress more sophisticated, more elegant, more regal. I want to give off a certain air. And of course, my silver gray wig adds into that aesthetic. And let me tell you, it does something to people. The way people respond to me when I go out in public with this wig, it is crazy. It is something a regular dark black wig would never get me, no matter what I wore. So I'm just really investing in like the way I style myself, the jewelry that I choose, the way I do my makeup, and I am loving it here. Now, I can't give you guys rich auntie because technically I'm a mom. I'm a married mother to a 4-year-old, so I gotta give y'all sophisticated rich mommy. Okay, that's why I call this. I call it the rich mommy, because I can't be the rich auntie like my beautiful child-free ladies out here. But listen, let me tell you, I've said this before, I don't know who needs to hear it, but let your hair go gray. And if you're like me and you have alopecia and your hair is not enough or sufficient to go gray, go ahead and buy this wig from Sensational. Wear it out just one day, and tell me how you do. Because I'm telling you, this is the milkshake that's going to bring the grown men to the yard.
If you're in your 40s, here's some really important advice from a 53-year-old. It's advice that I wish I would have been given, and stuff that I wish I would have known, which might have made it a little bit easier for me as I entered my 50s. So firstly, you're not too old. You're not too old to start a new career. You're not too old to start a new hobby. And you're certainly not too old to leave that shit relationship or marriage that you might be in. Secondly, it's not because you're in your 40s that you're struggling to lose weight. It's still relatively easy for you. It's a little bit like you telling someone in their 30s that it's easy for them now that you're in your 40s. Well, I'm telling you in my 50s that it's still easy for you in your 40s. The third one, in my opinion, is the most important one. You have an opportunity to reduce your risk of so many types of illnesses such as cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, osteoporosis, all of which will lead you to live a healthier, happier lifestyle. And you can grow old and enjoy it. That advice was free, so you can take it or leave it.
Where's my 40 and over people? Where y'all at? 40 and over people, come on to the front. Follow this account. I think I've got it down what we do over on this 40 and over. Look at what this North Carolina weather is doing to my hair today. Good grief. Over on this page, we're going to turn this into a 40 and over, where we just kick it. We listen to any music that we want to, because we are from an age and a time when it didn't matter where you were from or what you looked like. You just listened to what you listened to. On my main page, I'm being told that I'm not allowed to listen to certain genres of music. So on this page, we gonna remind people that we ain't with the bullshit. Us 40 and over, we ain't with the bullshit. So let's all join over on this page, and we're gonna have a good time, drama free. I need all my 40 and overs.
I'm 44, and here are some things that I no longer do. I don't wear high heels. I refuse to use them. I tried them throughout my 20s and 30s, and they hurt like you know what I mean. I will wear comfortable clothes. I do not follow the fashion. If I like it, great. If I don't, I don't. I don't try hard to fit in any fashion styles, and I just create my own. I came across a video of a lady that's also in her 40s, and she was talking about how we don't always have to do these hardcore workouts. Everyone, to each its own, but simple walks every day helps your body. And of course, sometimes our busy routine interferes with that, but as long as we're mindful and we get back on track, that's all that matters. With that said, walking is what I enjoy the most. Also, in my 40s, I don't try hard to fit in anywhere. I don't tell grown people how to be. I don't expect much from people anymore. I am myself. If you like me, great. And if you don't, that's still okay. I have learned that if people feel a certain way about you, it's their responsibility. I have no control over their emotions or their thoughts, and I don't care. I've learned that in my 40s because there was a certain person who disliked me without even knowing me. And years later, she apologized and told me, I assumed the worst from you. And I was like, okay, well, I said, no problem. And that right there was like a learned lesson. Like, I stopped caring for what people thought about me. And, even though it sucked because she was kind of rude and that was in my 20s, I do have to say that right there taught me that I have to keep being who I am, and I'm not here to please others. Another thing that I do in my 40s is I consider myself, one, I am an older sister, but I am a nurturer. I love to help people. I love to take care of people. And anytime someone needs help, I always make sure to give them some sort of advice. And if they take it, great. If they don't, that's still okay. Something I also do, adding to the list in my 40s, is that I am more cautious of where I am going and what I am doing compared to my 20s. Isn't that crazy? You look back and you're like, what the heck was I thinking? Like, why? Life. I also take vitamins. Vitamins. A lot of vitamins. And magnesium being the number one on my list. Second is vitamin D, probiotics, a green juice every morning, water with Celtic salt. I read the Bible every day. I take time to sit in silence. because I will not allow the chaos of this world to interrupt the peace that it's only my responsibility to create. And I love to sit and just listen to silence. It's so beautiful. I can keep going and going, but overall, at the end of the day, like, I'm always caring. Like, I love to help people. I do have to be careful because I am a recovering people pleaser. So I do find it very, I'm very mindful, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. If I am helping you, it's because I really want to. And if I see you're taking advantage of me, then you're going to notice and you're going to know that I don't appreciate it. That's all. Oh, by the way, I love being 44. 40s are great.
They're getting left behind. Men in the 40s are the most single that they've ever been.
And also, women in the 40s who've never been married, never had kids, are the happiest subgroup of the population.
Very true.
That's really important to talk about.
Really, really important.
They are the happiest subgroup, and they've never been married, never had kids.
Yeah. So basically, us women are thriving in their careers and self-worth, refusing to settle for partners who distract their lives. And a lot of the men that were actually, you know, spoken to in this survey have retreated to playing games and being dismissive of women because they're too bossy or they are too picky. It makes sense now, and I'm like, aha, okay, you know.
It's not the 1950s anymore where women were there to be seen and not heard.
It's the 1990s, guys. It's just a lot's changed since then.
We have opinions, we have careers. I mean, we're really good examples of this. We are both financially abundant, successful, independent, but we don't need anyone else to come into our lives. We've got our shit together. Don't need.
No, don't need it. Want it.
Want it. If they bring value.
Yeah, exactly.
If they allow us to elevate our lives, if they inspire us. If, and if not, we're good.
Okay, so these are things that I'm too old for as a woman in my 40s. Let's go. I am too old to have friends who I'm not 100% sure of. I used to keep friends around me because I knew them for a long time. We had history together. But a lot of times these friends, when I would tell them my good news, their mood would immediately change. They would get like angry at me. I realized after a while they were not my real friends. I am way too old to keep people around me who I do not 100% trust. I am way too old to be at a club. At 10 p.m., I am in bed. I've already applied my nightly skincare. I've taken my nightly supplements. I got my lavender diffuser on. I am not going to a club. Day brunches, dinners only. I am not throwing hands with you. I am way too old for that. I did that in my teens. But what I will do is I will sue you. I will take you to court and we will litigate. I will sue you, but I will not throw hands with you. I am too old to not love my own company. I take myself out to dinner. I take myself out to the spa. I love doing things by myself. And once I started really, truly loving doing things alone and being truly at peace with doing things by myself, I found that I never welcomed or allowed any toxic relationships in my life. And last, I am too old to fight for a man. I'm in a relationship now, but if I find out my man has somebody else, you can have him. I am not fighting for him. Adios.
Women in our 40s, we have to move differently at this stage of life. Okay, we cannot be following the advice of the 20-something fitness girlies. Our bodies just don't work the same anymore. When I was in my 20s, I could literally eat whatever the hell I wanted, hit the gym sometimes, and still be snatched. Okay, that is not the case anymore. But that does not mean that we cannot be in the best shape of our lives in our 40s, 50s, beyond, because we absolutely can. Although our bodies are changing and they're all over the place and it's way more challenging for sure, but we are still in control. We have to move differently. We have to be lifting heavy weights. We have to be eating lots of protein, eating fiber in our diet. Do not be scared of lifting heavy and getting bulky. Let me tell you, it is so difficult to put on big, bulky muscle at any stage of life, but especially for us in our 40s and beyond, it is so much harder to both put on muscle and maintain muscle. We really have to work at it. But something you need more so than a great workout plan or a great nutrition plan is discipline. Discipline is the key to having your best glow up in your 40s, because you can have the best workout plan, you can have the best eating plan, but if you're not disciplined to actually do it,
that is when you're going to see things go downhill. But we do not have to accept it. We don't have to just throw our hands in the air and say, well, I'm in my 40s now, so this is just when I put on a ton of weight and I feel terrible. No. You know what's so great about our 40s and beyond is the confidence that we have at this stage of life. Like, we do not give a shit about people's opinions anymore. We are so sure of who we are as people. We are so confident. We know ourselves. We are wise. When you start adding in the discipline of really caring about your body and your health and your longevity, and you pair that with that like confidence of your 40s, watch out.
This is for my girls that are about to be 40 or are 40 and beyond. If that's not you, just keep on scrolling. Was there or has there been a time in your life where you feel like you've looked in the mirror and like you don't recognize yourself anymore? I feel like lately I've looked in the mirror and my face just looks different to me. Does this happen to everybody? I actually went in for a consult the other day just about something I want to possibly look into doing. And when I was talking with the doctor, he said something. I brought this up, and he said it's because in our minds, we still see ourselves at a certain age. I hadn't really thought about that, but he was like, you probably still see yourself as the 28-year-old face or 25-year-old face. And that thought hadn't crossed my mind until he said, and I look back on some pictures and I'm like, that's how I still see myself. But that's not necessarily how I look now. Does that make any sense? Is this normal behavior? Help. Is this 40? Is this what 40 looks like?
I'm going to attempt to make this as short as possible because I know nobody has the attention span to stand listening for this long. But, okay, really quickly, disclaimer. Not on the apps. Done. Like, I'm done with that. Not searching. I'm not turning over every stone. All I'm doing is just kind of living and seeing if something happens, something comes my way. Cool. That's it. Anyway, this connection, this like person on social media that I guess following each other, messages me. And it's like this, just like introductory, start chatting. This is all in one day, okay? Like today. Start chatting back. It's funny. It's kind of sweet and sweet-natured from the start. He says, hey, I'm going to go for a run. So if I'm not responding, it's just that, like, it's not that I'm not interested. It's just I'm going to be doing that. That was a little, like, check. Like, I was like, oh, he's communicating. That's kind of sweet. Like, I'll take it. He had already kind of, been a little flirty. And I said, sure. Like, okay, cool. Go do your thing. Like, have a good run. He asked for my phone number. And I think that's kind of like, I'm a little old school. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, that's kind of next little check. Like, I'd rather someone call me and actually have a conversation with me than like this aimless chat on this stuff, right? And I'm an open book. Like, I'm ready to talk and chat. Like, it's cool. If I like you. Anyway. So I gave him my phone number. And he texted me. And he texted me on his run. And we start kind of bantering about, like, how he doesn't like to run. I don't like to run, but we've got to do it. And kind of things like that. And things start rolling, and then he asks for this picture that he favored. Like, he was like, this is my favorite picture. Will you send this to me for, like, my contact? And I said, sure, cool, kind of still going along with it. And then he texts, and he goes, oh, boy, I think you've just unlocked a new fetish. And so, I kind of commented back with the, oh, no, here we go, sweaty laugh emoji, And then he sent back, like, XO. So I was hoping that maybe he read the tone or he read the mood, like the room, and he was like, okay, let me take it back. Like, I'm not going to try to push that. So he proceeds to keep texting, and he starts sending pictures of him and his, like, adventures and, like, him and his mom. And I was like, ooh, like, I miss my mommy, you know, kind of all that stuff. I start sending pictures back of me and my mom, and, you know, I start sharing like little things, you know, and if you know me, my mom passed away, so it's a thing for me. Whatever. I thought, oh, this is like a sweet little moment to get acquainted, to get to know each other, kind of like segue into the new conversation of getting to know one another. And then quickly, he sends like a screenshot of another picture of mine, and he says, this, except just shoes. So I'm like, okay, I know where this is going. And I was like, ah. And I laughed it off. Like, look, we're all adults. Adult humor is real. Like, I get it. Given the right time and space and person and trust and timeline, okay, like, fine, whatever. I can banter back. But, like, right now, like, I've literally just given you, like, the time of my day-to-day to kind of start a conversation, and here we go already. I'm also the kind of person that needs to be in the same room as you. Like, I need to know that, like, you in the room is something that I feel there's chemistry. I can look at you, I can hear your voice, like, I can feel like if there's like a vibe. And this has not happened yet. This is all just in text, and I'm like, okay, this is already rolling in that direction. And so I try to laugh it off and change the subject. And so he doesn't take the bait or doesn't read the room. He sends another picture, and he's like, this, except only shorts. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to continue entertaining this anymore. I'm going to be flat out blunt and real and say, hey, this is not. And I send a little blurb. I said, I think I know where this is going. I've been here, done that. I was really hopeful that this might be something to kind of get to know, like a friend or like a connection or something, you know, just to get to know somebody. And I kind of already feel where this is going, and I'm not going to be about it. Like, I'm really sorry, but it's just, I can't. Like, I'm trying to save the conversation too many times already, and you keep coming back to this, and I know where it is. And so he responds back with like cap letters and like breaks up the word relax. Don't you freaking tell. Don't you tell a female, let alone a Latina, to relax. We're going to go past that, though. He sends a little gif or meme or whatever you all call it of like a girl like rolling her eyes like an annoyance. And he says, don't worry about it, forget it. I'll let the creamsicle know you're not interested. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I didn't respond. I haven't responded. I don't ghost, but this is ghost worthy. We're not entertaining that anymore. And what the heck? How does this go from like where it started to this? I don't know. I think that's it. And every time I have an interaction like this, like my non-negotiables like go up a notch. My standards just like go up a notch. And I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to meet anyone that I'm going to feel proud to introduce to my father. Not even a little bit. It's not going to happen. Like, hello, nunnery. Are you taking applications? I'm done, y'all. Like, what is happening? But you know, it's funny. It's laughable. You're welcome. Here's another episode in the season of This Can't Be Real. And this isn't the first. So I'm not sharing this like, oh, this has never happened to me before. I'm sharing this because, goodness gracious, I can call it like that. So, yeah, I'm done. I give up. So, there you go. See what happens next. Because I don't know. Anyway, there's that. Okay. Bye.
things I wish I knew when I was in my 40s that I can look back on now from the perspective of being 51. It is such a large jump from feeling still so youthful in your 30s to moving into your 40s where, you know, there's a lot of obligations that women have moving into their 40s with work and with families and with children and sometimes with their aging parents, and it feels very heavy. And our hormones are not doing us any favors in that time period. A lot of people will say that that's the time when they start hitting maybe perimenopause. And for me, it really was, but I had no idea that it was happening when it was happening. I just knew that my skin looked very rough. I knew that I couldn't even walk 4 miles without being in severe pain. And I was like, oh, well, this is aging. This is what aging is. The maintenance, the care of yourself changes in your 40s, but you can still have it all. It's not the slippery slope into a decline, into aging that I think a lot of us feel in our 40s, that it feels almost irreversible. I'm not advocating any of these things, but these are things that I found made a really big difference for me. I suggest you look into HRT. I had no idea in my early 40s that it was even a possibility, and probably I only needed progesterone and testosterone at that point, but I wish someone had said it to me because I would have given anything to have felt better and felt better about myself. The second thing that really made a huge difference in my confidence was starting to get Botox. And I know people be like, Botox, but here's the thing, there's a lot of young people who use it, and I don't think that they need it. I think it's pointless almost. And it almost changes the structure of the way that they look and makes people have a really negative opinion about it. But where it really excels is for older women. When you hit a time period where you're waking up and you don't recognize yourself anymore, and you look so exhausted all the time, like you look like you never slept, even though you feel fine, that's when Botox really comes in handy. And I have been using it probably for 5 or 6 years consecutively. It just gives me a more rested, youthful appearance, and I just look like myself. I have had the biggest boost to my self-esteem and my self-confidence, and I've just like looking at myself in the mirror again. Exercise. I know it's hard to do in your 40s because it feels like you are spinning your wheels. You can't ever lose a pound. Everything is changing so quickly. Keep exercising. It is bad because of your hormones. It's bad because your estrogen is like this all through your 40s. Will come out on the other side, and everything will calm down in your late 40s. You will be so happy that you spent the time really like still investing in your health, because you can feel good again. It will happen.
I am 41 years old, single, without kids, living in a van outside my mom's house. But I'm on the next chapter of my life. I'm currently building a tiny home next door, like literally next door to my mom. This is my tiny home I'm building, and it's literally next door to my mom's house. This is my mom. Mom, you happy that I'm moving next door?
Yeah. Where are the women in their 40s on this app? Everyone I follow is like 25 years old. I also believe that I am 25 years old, although I am 41. But where are the women in their 40s on this app? I feel like there's like a serious gap of content creators, of like cool, stylish, edgy women in their 40s. Like, where are they? Please link them below.
I'm just curious if there are any other women out there in their 40s who are fighting the urge every single day to keep from just burning everything down. Yeah.
New combo. Ready?
Where are all my ladies that are over 40, single and dating? Like, what's going on out here? It's scary. It's very scary. There's something in the air. There's something in the water. What is it?
My name is Audrey. I turned 42 years old this year. I am single, I have no kids, and I live in a very small town on the central coast of California, actually the town that I grew up in, my hometown. And I'm at this really interesting place in my life where I am in the middle of my life, hopefully the middle of my life, Lord willing. And I don't seem to have a place where I really connect with a lot of people who are my age, because a lot of people my age have children, they have a community, they do things with their kids, families, other families and things. And it's just a really interesting place to be. So I've had to really find and define what joy and what fulfillment really look like at this stage in my life. I previously was in Northern California. I owned 2 businesses and I loved what I did, but it was time for me to come back home and the market kind of shifted. And so I found myself back in a small town and just kind of refiguring out life and what that looks like. And there have been a lot of stresses that the Lord has taken out of my life. I currently work in ministry for my church and I love what I do. But then I find myself outside of work wondering like, do I start another business? What kinds of hobbies do I get into? I would just love to know if you're in the same boat as I am, what you do to fill your time. Are you out making new friends at this age? Like, what are we doing with all of our time and how to find more joy?
Single women in their 40s, what are we doing to meet men? What are we doing? How are we doing it? Can anyone help me? Because I need all the help I can get. Apps here in Australia, Gold Coast, nope, not a thing. So how are we doing it? Please help me, because I'm just, I don't know, am I going to be single forever at this rate? I feel like it. So single ladies over 40, what are we doing? Help a mama out.
Ladies, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it a little louder for the people in the back. Do not let your looks go at all costs. When you don't like what you see in the mirror every day, it affects your daily life. It affects your relationship. It affects your friendships. It affects your ability to be a great mom. It literally affects everything. And listen, I know from experience, I used to be a big old broad, okay? And when I was the most miserable I have ever been, because every morning I woke up, I hated that my clothes didn't fit. I didn't even put on makeup, do my hair. Why? I was fat and ugly, right? Like I just didn't want to invest in me, and it showed. Trust me. Now, I was never a hater towards other women because I was big and I couldn't be a hater too. I had to pick a struggle, right? I was always inspired by beautiful women, never a hater, but I was miserable. Couldn't find anything to wear. I just hated looking in the mirror. It was so sad. The minute I started realizing that this was affecting my whole life, I lost the weight. I started putting more effort into myself and everything got substantially better. My relationship with others, the fact that I was a better mom, because when you look good, you feel good, you put out good, and I will die on that hill. I really will. So if you're going through it, take a look in the mirror and see what you need to work on. And I'm telling you, you will feel 1,000,000 times better. It'll change your whole life.
So there's a young lady who made a post talking about the 40 and over women and how they are really taking it. We are taking it over here on TikTok. And I just wanted to chime in and say I couldn't agree more. I show up on these platforms and have been showing up on social media for, a long time now, almost 13 years. And I show up to show women that anything is possible. As someone who was a teen mother, who has an invisible illness and was diagnosed with a brain disorder at the age of 30, who survived domestic abuse in my past relationships, and a host of other things, right? Choosing the wrong men in my 20s and literally being where I am today. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. I am often taken aback by what 19-year-old me would say to 46-year-old me, because she never knew that her life would end up like this. She knew it would be great, but she didn't know how she was going to get there. And so I show up on these platforms as a reminder that, number one, when you age, you can be fine as wine, baby. You just got to take care of yourself. But also, you are the most important person in your life, and you have to start keeping your word to yourself. And to get to the other side, it takes hard work, it takes dedication, and it takes you putting yourself first. You know, one of my favorite lines is fuck them niggas, okay? Because a lot of times as women, we get caught up behind a man. I know you've been there. I've been there, right? Sometimes you got to let go of your friends. Sometimes you got to do it alone. But I promise you, if you stick with it, you keep your word to yourself. You can keep your word to everybody else, but many of us can't keep our words to ourselves. If you keep your word to yourself, it will get greater later. And so, you know, I show up on here. I talk about dating and all of that stuff on the other app. It's all wellness and perimenopause and all the good things in my family. So wherever you find me at, I'm here as a reminder that it is possible.